Now, my next guest is somebody who's he's worked in television. He's worked as a comedian. His work in television is quite extraordinary when you look at the things that he's done, particularly a show called Pointless, which screens on the 9 network here. They did a local version, but Paul, you were telling me you were watching it this afternoon.
No, yesterday.
It's a great show. A lot of our listeners like the show Pointless. It was created and, in fact, co-presented by Richard Osman, who's well known through that show and plenty of others. We spoke with Richard, I think it might have been, 18 months ago or so, or perhaps 12 months ago we spoke with him about his book, because he decided, having had this great career, he thought, all right, I'm going to have a crack at writing crime fiction, which is very hard, crime fiction. Imagine how crowded the crime fiction genre is. He came up with a great idea, which was the Thursday Book Club. And essentially what it is, it's a group of people in an upmarket retirement home. You've got a former intelligence agent, a former trade unionist, a former nurse and a former psychiatrist. They gather each week and they look at old cold cases and they think, let's try and work out what really happened here, because the cops couldn't find out. And then they get caught up in a contemporary murder, and it goes from there. And it's a fantastic idea. The book, as I say, was called The Thursday Murder Club. And I'll tell you, The Thursday Murder Club, it was his debut novel. It was the best-selling novel of 2020, third best-selling fiction hardback since records began. It was 6 months on the Sunday Times #1 spot. Didn't leave the top 3 until, I think, the hardback publication. It was incredible. And not only all of that, but he's also had a production company headed by someone called Steven Spielberg, who's now looking at turning that into a movie. The new book is called The Man Who Died Twice, and it's the next book, and it's the same 4 people. It's a fantastic idea. And we've got Richard Osman on the line with us now from the UK. Richard, good evening.
Hey, John. Hey, Paul. How are you?
Hi, Richard. Good.
Hey, Richard, when you hear all of that, because you've had an amazing career in television, and so you think, all right, I'm going to have a crack at crime fiction, and you hear all of that said quickly, and you think, has that really happened? Has that really happened?
Yeah, as you say, John, we spoke about a year ago when the first one was just about to come out, and I was hopeful, and I loved the book, and I was proud of it, and I just thought, I hope it does well enough that I get to write another one. And then it went to #1, and I thought, oh, hold on, remember this moment, just remember this week, because these things don't happen often in life. Just drink it in, and it will disappear. And it hasn't. It's still #1 now. I mean, it's been #1 all year, and so I keep thinking, when's this going to be knocked off #1? And it'll be knocked off #1 next week by the second one. It's absolutely ridiculous. And around the world as well. I've just seen the new one, The Man Who Died Twice, is #1 in Australia today. Yeah. And you just think, well, I mean, this is absolutely, I don't know, people love the characters and it's making people laugh and cry, but what a crazy roller coaster.
But the other part of that is you've created these characters and they're obviously very precious to you, but there's kind of a responsibility now, isn't there? Because you think to yourself, there's hundreds of thousands of people around the world for whom these characters mean a lot, so you've now got to navigate them through another story, and you're probably getting people giving you feedback and ideas of what they should and shouldn't be doing.
I mean, that's exactly the thing. And I mean, the 4 members of the Murder Club, and, they're very good to me in lots of ways. But, yeah, everyone's got their favourite, everyone's got opinions about them. And, yeah, I had to give myself a proper reality check and go, do you know what? You wrote this first one completely in secret, without talking to anyone, without any hoopla, and that turned out okay. So just shut out the outside world, sit in front of your computer, start writing again, and just write the book that you want to read, which is, it's the only way to write a book. You can't be cynical or try and second-guess people. So again, I tried to put everything I've got into it. People prefer it to the first one, which is amazing. I'm very, very pleased about. There's laughs in it again. Anyone who loves Agatha Christie is gonna love it. But yeah, I just tried to kind of think, forget what everyone's saying, and just write a book that I would love.
Yeah, see, my colleague Paul here writes true. Yeah, he writes true crime.
I've written 24.
Yeah, but see, you have to put together fiction, crime fiction. So when you write it, you put out a scenario. I think we talked about this before. Do you know where it's going, or is there an element where you're thinking, gee, I'll watch how this goes and let it grow and go organically? How do you write them?
Yeah, I have a rough idea of where it's going. I always know how it starts, and in my head I know where it's going to end. But sometimes, yeah, the characters overtake you, and you'll write something to the scene, and you'll just go, hold on a minute, if that were true, then this would happen, and you know, the story starts telling itself. And I read a lot of true crime, and always have done. You know, we're fascinated by it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, you know, I always read that. I take inspiration from things that have happened in the real world, and then, you know, I just try and filter it through these 4 characters who seem harmless, but, you know, in reality they're quite sort of mischievous, and, you know, and it's just lovely to see crime through the eyes of these 4 people in their 70s.
Richard, I was watching your show yesterday, and I had no idea that you'd written a book. But I abide by the it's my own theory that anyone that can write a book, a novel, and get people to buy it. That's the hardest thing a human being can do. I can't find anything harder, and I've written 24 factual books about famous crimes in Australia and various crimes, this, that and the other. And so, you know, and I've thought about writing a novel from time to time, and then thought about it again and again. But you seem to have come up with something that is very, very audience related, that they can participate in with you, that just seems so unique that I haven't seen it before.
Where'd you get the idea from?
Yes.
Where's the original idea?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, the original idea, my mum lives in a retirement community, and, you know, I'd go down there and visit, and, you know, it's a very sort of beautiful bit of the English countryside, and, you know, like any good Englishman or Australian, I thought this would be an amazing place for a murder. And, you know, as soon as you think that, and as soon as you meet everyone there, they're all in their 70s, and they've all got these incredible life experiences and stories, I just thought, well, if there was a murder here, I bet you lot would solve it. And, you know, I'm a TV producer by profession, always have. So I've always written, but, you know, for years I've been a TV producer. And the second I thought of that, the radar goes off. That my TV producer's brain of, oh, this has really got legs. You know, this is something that will give and give and give. You know, and I instantly thought, okay, I've got to start writing this series. It's going to be amazing having detectives in their 70s. You know, the stuff that they don't get away with. So it's one of those things that it happens in your career sometimes, where you have an idea, you just immediately go, okay, I see this has got legs. This has got years and years in it.
Do you reckon there might be groups like this? Because I reckon every home like this, there'd be people who former ASIO agent and a former trade unionist with all these skills who might think, why don't we do this?
They seem to make good television shows about them.
But I'm saying, there might be real people who are reading the book and going, why don't we do this?
But that's the truth. Listen, amongst us, if you walk past someone in the late 70s, we walk past people all the time, and we have no idea what they did as a job. You know, we walk past people who were spies. We walk past people who were assassins, you know, every day. And we tend to just overlook people. We tend not to even think about it. And that was one of the ideas behind this, which is, you know, just this incredibly rich history. And older people tend not to show off about what they did. We're younger. We bang on about, we stick everything we've ever done on Instagram. You know, they tend to be very quiet about what they did. And, you know, that's a lovely thought. You know, we walk amongst these people in our communities. I mean, listen, you must know, writing true crime books, you know that there are people out there. You know there are on both sides of good and evil. They're all out there.
Who's reading it? I mean, is it a broad? Because it sounds like it appeals to right across the spectrum.
Yeah, I think they thought, oh, maybe this is a book for older people because it's about older people, and it really hasn't been. It's absolutely extraordinary. It's been very big. I mean, we sold, I think, 3 million copies worldwide now, and that's, you know, young people, older people. You know, they do the demographics, and it's sort of 50-50 men and women, which is really, really unusual for a book. And the thing that amazes me, it doesn't shock me that it does well in Australia because, you know, we have a common language, and every British person knows Australians and vice versa. But, you know, it's top 10 Japan, and it's number 1 in Germany, and these countries where I just think, what what do you think you're reading here?
It's fantastic. It's so good for you.
Richard, if you look at Agatha Christie's books, you'll find there's a similar type of vein in most of those too. Old people and murders.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you this because you've got the movie coming up. Are you going to do you're a TV man? You're going to do an Alfred Hitchcock and have yourself getting off a bus or something early on in the film?
No. Do you know what? Only because in Britain, possible. So from pointless working in a cat's police station. That's weird. I definitely will be getting my mum.
Go and say that again.
I'll definitely be getting. I was saying that people go, why is the guy from Pointless working in a cat's police station?
I guess so. Yeah, I suppose that's a problem, isn't it?
So
I suppose
I'm going to get my mum and my aunt's cameos in it, so I'm hoping they can be in the background. That'd be nice.
Fantastic. All right, so look, the new book is called The Man Who Died Twice, and look, I mean, you said it's already number one here and around the world. I'm guessing there's going to be more. I mean, these four have got a long career ahead of them, I imagine.
I hope so. I've just started number 3. I'm literally supposed to be writing that at the moment. I haven't today. Yes, I'm writing number 3, and again, more trouble. More stuff going on. They're getting themselves in some scrapes. But essentially, it's a mystery, but it's a story about friendship, an unlikely friendship, and about having new adventures. In older age. So writing it is such a tonic for me.
What joy. One last question, Richard. How long does it take you to write a book?
The first one, because I did it in secret, I didn't tell anyone I was doing it, so there was no deadline, there was no pressure. Probably about 2.5 years, something like that, because I kept, I put the pen down sometimes and just thought, no, this is not for me, I'm going to give this up. But, I kept picking it up. Now, because of the way publishing works, I've got to do one a year. But, you learn so much from the first one, I think. You know what not to do. And so one a year seems fine. So 10 months, probably about 2 months of TV presenting and 10 months of writing seems to be my year at the moment.
Fantastic. Hey, how
interesting. Well done.
When travel's allowed and you come into Australia, come into the studio. We'd love to have a chat and you can talk to some of our listeners as well.
Love to meet you.
Good on you, Richard.
I'd absolutely love to come over. Thank you, Jen.
And what joy to try something in secret and think, I wonder how this is going to go, and it just explodes. And you can hear the joy when you talk about your writing. It's fantastic.
Have you been to Australia before?
No, I've got loads of relatives out there, and I would absolutely, as you can imagine, I like everybody English. Yep. I can't wait to come out as soon as we're around.
Good on you, Richard. We'll have you in here when you come out. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Richard, and congratulations.
Cheers, gents.
Richard Osman.
Have a good one.
And the new book is called The Man Who Died Twice, and it's now 12 to 12.